Alright, here we are, everybody. National Geographic. This article is dated, February 22nd, 2011. Basically, it says 3 theories of planet formation busted. And the explosion of strange new worlds shows theory has struck out. Now, when somebody says a theory has struck out, to me it usually means the theory is wrong or incorrect or, along those, phrases. This picture has an illustration of a planet with a highly inclined orbit found around the star Hat P11. In stellar metamorphosis, this little object right here is a really old star. It's having its outer gaseous envelope ripped away by the newer, hotter, younger star. This isn't a planet, it's an ancient star. It's being destroyed by a newer, hotter, younger star. It came from somewhere else. That's why the orbit is so inclined and weird looking. Unfortunately, I know that, but do these people? The more new planets we find, the less we seem to know about how planetary systems are born, according to a leading planet hunter. This is Jeffrey Marcy of the University of California, Berkeley. But that bonanza has been a headache for theoreticians, he says, because many of the newly discovered star systems defy existing models of how planets form. That means the models are wrong. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know, maybe if something defies your model can't incorporate it, that means the model is wrong. And here is the number one reason why they don't know what they're doing. Current theory holds that planets are made from disks of gas and dust left over after star birth. That is why they will never understand how planets form. The star cools and shrinks and dies, becoming the planet. In other words, the little hard rocky balls and gaseous spheres that orbit the sun are just more evolved stars. They're not the leftover remains of the sun. The sun is a complete entity all on its own. It came from somewhere else and adopted the other planets along its travels through the galaxy. It's just the objects that are orbiting it now were in its path, and it adopted them. Just like a tractor trailer driving through a junkyard with large chains and hooks attached to him, picking up random objects as it moves about. And the 3 main problems that they outlines is all planetary orbits should be roughly circular, and they're not circular. It says, I think it's 1 in 3 of them has a circular or near circular orbit. That means 66% of them do not. Theory did not predict that. With minor exceptions, everything in a star system should orbit in the same plane and in the same direction. I'll just go ahead and overview this. The exoplanets, actually evolved stars that they found, orbit on different planes and different directions, which is also impossible according to the protoplanetary disk nebula hypothesis. However way you slice it, disk theory that clearly does not work. I'm not going to read a lot about this one. Neptune-sized planets should be rare across the universe, of course, because the protoplanetary disk has Neptune planets as being rare because they're just ice giants that are completely unimportant, inconsequential, and everybody that does astronomy should ignore them because so limited information is coming from them. But, that's their attitude. Ignore what we cannot study or spend money on. Unfortunately, that's not how science is done. Science is supposed to take everything into account and simplify it and explain it in terms that everybody can understand, not ignore things. And new finds will continue to boggle theory. Yes, boggle their theory because it's incorrect, as we have seen earlier. And then it goes on to say, theory may be fine, but models need work. They just said in the opening statement, look, theory has struck out. Am I imagining this? No, I'm not imagining it. But yet, they say in the same article, theory may be fine, but models need work. Hello? The theory has struck out. Thus, the models have also struck out. Making more models of the same falsified theory isn't going to make the theory better. And then he goes on to say, oh no, the problem, he said, is that the theory is so math intensive that a single detailed simulation can take months of computer time. No, what that does is make sure that you have a job for months at a time. You can only do a small number of simulations in the time allotted, Levinson said. What about that thing on top of your shoulders? It's called a brain. Try using it, sir. It's faster than any supercomputer that anybody can afford, even though it's 2014 and our computers are supposedly fast. I don't think so. It's nothing compared to the little gray thing on top of your head. And then it goes on to say, but the quicker models come at a price, and their failure to match exoplanet reality doesn't necessarily mean theory is wrong. Okay, so if it doesn't match reality, then what use is it? That's a weird statement. And then it says, the only thing we can say for sure is that these models don't work. Of course, because the theory is wrong. Those are crappy models. Yeah. They're crappy models because the theory is struck out. And that was covered in the very opening statement of this entire article. And then he says, I don't think it says anything yet about our basic concepts of planet formation. Yes, it says everything about your basic concepts of planet formation. It says you guys don't know what you're doing at all, and you need to get a different job because your theories have struck out. And in my theory, the star is the new planet, and the planet is the ancient star. It's Occam's razor. It simplifies these supposed theories into one understandable model where the star cools and dies, and as it cools and dies, it becomes a life-hosting planet. But anybody who's been paying attention to these videos already knows that.